Hello and welcome back to Toy Story 3. This is Bio Enchanted once again, and we're back to Woody now. So let's see what we can do here, shall we? Got quite a few things to work on. So first of all, we're just going to make sure we get as many of the shops built as we can. We've only got a few more things to do, really. So let's get that post office built, shall we? There we are. So that we can actually do that side quest and give it a mailbox when it's built. You think he would have ordered it while he first had the building constructed. Just, by the way, could you throw a mailbox in there too? But apparently not. I guess Woody just has no foresight. Again though, we've always been a fairly terrible sheriff pretty much throughout this. We've been abusing people left and right. This is me showing off that these pigs are basically there for mission summaries in case you can't be bothered to press the back button pretty much. But that's all they're really there for. They really have no other purpose except to show you what missions you have available. And that's a bit lame really. You would have thought there'd be more to them than that. So let's head up to Slinky because we have a lot of missions to do with him. Now that we have a barn and garden to play with.
Well, these cows are hungry, and I know there's grass up at my old corral on that ledge over yonder. Don't suppose you can find a way to get them up there, do you?
So we need to get the cows all the way up now to the corral at the top, and before we have to get them down from the down to the bottom from the top. But they're way too heavy, so we need to do something about that. This pink goo might do the trick. Reduce a cow to the size of a hamburger patty. Yeah, that was a little insensitive, but yeah. So let's now easily carry the cow up here, because we need to do this, because otherwise this part will be impossible. Because we need to be able to throw the cow all the way up this ladder. Like so. And there we are. The cow would not have gone nearly that far if it was the size it normally is. Also this way it eats less grass, so win-win. Just me making sure I've got all the things in this area. I don't want to end up missing something stupid. Foreshadowing. I like the animation on the pink goo with the, on the goo in general with the thing like really having to force it down. It's like some kid really overflowed the thing, not quite reading the instructions properly. You just know it's not going to meant to have that much that the goo's seeping out the sides. That's obviously way overfilled. The toy's probably designed to contain the goo. A bit better than that, but whoops. I'm bad at throwing cows apparently. That's the skill, to be fair. Ooh! The camera went on an adventure there, didn't it? Not quite as grand as the Lego City adventure for that camera, but it was still pretty special. Ah, now we can buy the cow cannon. Very nice. We'll never use it, but we can buy it. Let's also see what else we can do. Oh, a muffin shop. That'll fill out this side of the town quite nicely. There we are. Those two buildings on the left as well as the right. When leaving the town hall.
I'm glad you're here. Hey, now that the barn's raised, let's gather up some townsfolk, throw them inside, and we'll have ourselves a rip-roaring barn dance.
This part's a little tricky actually, because the townspeople spawn fairly randomly, and it's not all reliable when they'll actually show up. I mean, that first one you see there was a freebie, so let's go grab that one first and throw him to their barn, shall we? And you can tell he's one of them because he's wearing a nice little suit. Appropriate for a prom kind of dance. I also quite like that the barn has a big carrier handle on the top because it's obviously some kind of play set, like those old sets that for like old Micro Machines vehicles. It used to be like a big truck that it'd fold out into a track, which was always pretty neat. Never had any as a kid because they were way expensive, but yeah. I think we had one, but it like probably broke or got lost, something like that. You can even see the hinge where the lid of the barn opens and everything like that. It's a pretty cool little barn, I like it for that. And here's a girl in a very 1950s hairdo, so that's obviously meant to be for the dance. That was a weird pronoun to use, that, but yeah. He doesn't count though, this is why this is so finicky. Only particular townspeople really count. But the game doesn't really care if a townsperson's already been counted. When it comes to this kind of thing, generally we can just wait for them to come back out and throw another one back in, and it'll just duplicate it. Like this. There we are. I like this little dance.
I'm glad you're here.
I like that the side quests all have these little animations that go with them that just add a little bit of completeness to them. There's a little bit of polish. And there's our muffin shop. Yum. And now we have the muffin shop built. The crew is now free. So let's now also build the candy shop, which I believe is actually the final shop. So let's just put it there, shall we? Right in the middle of the outskirts. And summon Bullseye, because why not? Because we actually want to go in here. We need Bullseye to get in here, otherwise these gates will not open. This area is Bullseye only, it's a track basically, for a couple of races. This up area is actually completely pointless as well, we never need to go up here. Or those like really top ledges or anything like that, they're just kind of there for decoration mostly. And for an interesting little platforming thing if you feel like it. But since there's no capsules up there, which is strange, you'd expect there to at least be a capsule, but yeah. Because it seems also like it's a bit like, oh look, you can do a shortcut here, but it's just not a particularly good one. It's certainly an interesting area though, with a lot of like rock formations and things you can climb on even if there's no reason to, so it definitely feels, well, it's still a track, it does do a good job feeling more natural because of that. Because of the nature of a lot of the climbable objects being kind of arbitrary and unnecessary to the actual track. It helps the feel of the area. So there's half the track explored, but there's also this entrance here. There's 4 entrances that all link in pairs. And of course you also cross in kind of a pseudo figure 8 kind of a way. These ledges have capsules on them, that makes sense. I quite like these collapsed mine areas and stuff, it feels pretty good to wander around. I also like that you have this little shortcut to get up this big ramp. So you can take the ramp, but I tend to prefer to, but like you can actually avoid the ramp entirely and save a lot of time. Whoops. Should have been able to jump there, that was embarrassing.
Hey, Sheriff, could you come over here? You can't call yourself a farmer till you've grown a vegetable or two.
Okay, let's grow some vegetables, shall we? As you can see, there are 4 patches here.
Now, I don't want to make a mountain out of a molehill, but these moles are eating all our crops. How about showing them who's in charge around here?
This minigame can be really easy or really hard, depending on if you remember you have balls to throw. If you can try and charge them, but it takes 2 shots. One to stun them and one to knock them out, so it takes way longer. And you actually have a chance of like completely screwing it up and missing all the moles and wasting all your time. So just throw balls randomly, much like dodgeball. Just keep throwing balls everywhere.
Molehill, but but these moles are eating all their crops. How about showing them who's in charge around here?
So we've grown some corn, so let's also grow tomatoes, shall we? But things get a little trickier here. And never again, because this is the maximum it gets. This is as hard as things get, 6 moles. That's all we need to do, and that townsperson's getting in the way. That's pretty much how difficult these get. The townspeople just start getting in the way of the boss. And that's just completely incidental to the actual minigame. It's not even an intentional thing. They just wander into the pasture and get in the way. But now we have tomatoes as well as corn. We have corn and tomatoes and a squash.
Out of a molehill, but these moles are eating all their crops. How about showing them who's in charge around here?
It's really more of a pumpkin, but yeah. Some missions in the game call it a squash, some missions call it a pumpkin. It's a bit weird. Then again, I guess a pumpkin is a kind of squash. I think? Not entirely certain on my vegiology.
Usually this late. Worried something.
The stagecoach can wait, and we pretty much bought everything. We don't need the 26,000 gold we have. And now we can also go grow some carrots as well to finish things off here.
Now, I don't want to make a mountain out of a molehill, but these moles are eating.
It's kind of a
all
shame
their
that the
crops.
game doesn't get any harder though. It just kind of stops at 6 and plateaus there forever, so it makes getting crops more of a hassle than anything else. More than minigames. You just need to do this each time. And it takes like 10 seconds, but it's just annoying to have to do it every time. And the NPCs are getting in the way and helping, and also the other crops getting in the way as well, because I'm just bashing the squash right now. There we are. And with that, we get a gold star for doing all 4 crop types. The green thumb star.
Hey, that's mighty nice time. Well, I'll be. First place in the fair's crop competition goes to whoever enters the biggest vegetable.
Well, it's a good job we just grew a bunch of vegetables, isn't it? So let's grab this squash. And I quite like that the squash has little eyes. That's really cute. So other vegetables do. They have little eyes, little faces. It's a really cute thing. We need a prize-winning vegetable, so let's cheat, shall we? A little miracle grow. Because Woody is no stranger to cheating.
Hey, that's mighty nice diamond.
There we are, our giant pumpkin with its silly face. It's such a happy big pumpkin as well. It's the cutest pumpkin in the universe. And now let's see what else he needs us to do.
Livestock competition's coming up. How about taking my prize cow to the judges and try to win first prize?
Ooh. Prize cow. This is what I think is important with the bases of the cows. I think you need one of the cows with the blue bases that have the little horseshoes and stars on them, as opposed to the green ones. You need the brown cows, basically, not the white ones. I don't know if that's what makes it matter, but I know I've tried it before with cows, and for some reason the cow I chose didn't work, even though I did every step I was supposed to do correctly. Because I'm going to do exactly what I do normally here, and it will work first time. Even though before these exact steps have failed me. It's very strange. But as usual, we need to win a competition with something. So let's cheat as hard as we can, shall we? By feeding strange substances to our certainly not organic cow.
Hey, that's mighty. The crops are in danger.
Also, just realised the cow's
On
legs.
the double.
I recognise that style of legs. I've got a giraffe toy that's just like that, where you press in the underside of the base there's a little, kind of like a little levered platform where you kind of push it upwards with your thumb, and I think it's intended to like move each individual leg because of the whole like depending on the corner you push. But it just ends up having the effect if you just push the entire base up and the entire toy just collapses into a pile like a dead horse. It's accurate to real life because those kind of animals tend to be fairly stupid, but it's still hilarious. You just push the base in, watch it just flop into nothing, and then get back up again like nothing happened. But we need a Scarecrow, so let's head all the way back here to this shop, shall we? One of them. Any of these shops will do, of course. I just always go for this one because it's familiar to me. So let's try and find our Scarecrow buddy. There's a lot of sad people here, but we're looking for a Scarecrow in particular. I'm sure the Zerg wannabe might scare a few things, but not crows. That's not it, although it looks like it. That's just a wacky jacket. We'll know it when we see it with the Scarecrow. It's very distinctive. That's just a farmer. The Scarecrow looks artificial. You'll see what I mean when we get to it. I'm looking for a very specific feature. There we are. This is clearly not a real person. Despite the fact that it's still moving on its own. Someone's been reading too much Goosebumps. That's basically just telling you, that little pop-up there is just telling you that you can summon your horse or your dragon or any of your cars from the... Ooh! Sasquatch. Boom. It can be literally anywhere, pretty much. So let's quickly catch up to our Scarecrow, he's escaping. Don't do this to me. Cheeky Scarecrow. So let's get him to the farm where he belongs, shall we? So we can scare the birds away from the crops. Boom. And that we get for doing all of the missions based on the Sid's Haunted House area. So of course, some of the missions are not necessarily directly from the haunted house, or from each of those areas in general, but are related to it in theme, either in costume or in anything else. And here we've bought all the toys in the shop now, we have everything. Now we have nothing to spend our money on at all, ever. We are done with money forever. We bought everything. We just need to wait for that to be built now. Well, actually it's just a cannon, it'll just drop in there. Now we're finally using these vehicles, it's giving us a little tutorial on how to actually control it. I had a lot of trouble with some of those tricks because I forgot that A did a full spin while Y only did a half spin. So I was trying to make certain tricks happen, with like one in the LP anyway, and parts I'll be editing out, with the Y button because I'm an idiot. But also these are really hard to control. But let's go to the right first of all, not this way. The other way, because this way is much bigger and much trickier. This way is easy compared to that one. The right is a much smaller area that we can more easily clear out with the amount of time we have left. So let's head over there, shall we? And see what it has to offer. And of course this area is only accessible via car. We can't get off our car here ever. Which means navigating it's a nightmare.
Around the park contain a variety of excellent missions. You'll earn extra gold if you do tricks like barrel rolls, 360s, or flips.
Of course, our little Triceratops buddy is the announcer here. And there we have a little customizing station. If we ever want to change the colour of our car, why would we ever bother? We only use the colour when we absolutely have to get stuff. Like the ringleader set, for example. Got the hat there. Let's see what's around these other parts of the thing, shall we? I mean, I've got the hang of controlling these vehicles, but if you haven't got the hang of it, these vehicles are really rough. But yeah, the teeny race is neat. And the cool thing is, it's actually a way of changing our vehicle without having to really go out of our way from here. We can actually do it right here. I'm going to show it off in a minute when we've grabbed this. We need a bit more size to get that second capsule that we ended up forgetting about. So let's go through this green goo to grow our car to the teeny racer. I quite like that you can do that, that's pretty cool. I mean, not the teeny racer, but the actual, like, sports car, rather. From the teeny racer to the sports car, by going through the green goo. And there's the Triceratops on her little announcing podium. That's a fairly cute little touch, you can actually see her in the level. So let's actually do something tricky to grab this. There we are. And we also got an achievement for spinning a bunch of times. Let's go through the green goo again. Yeah, secret car. You never are able to buy this in the shop at all. This is a car you can only get going through the green goo. The monster truck. It's not particularly useful. It's very, very, very slow, so it can't make any jumps or do anything of note. And yeah, I'll be skipping a lot of the challenges in these areas because they're just a pain in the ass. But I'll be showing off all the collectibles, and enough for the challenges you'll get the idea of how these vehicles control, which is poorly. But the skate park, there's no reason to do any of them. They're just... And it's very poorly laid out stuff. It's just irritating. And there's enough stuff to show off without dealing with that. So let's head down the other channel, shall we? And see what's through this tunnel.
Welcome to the stunt park.
Oh boy.
Stop in a glowing cylinder to get a mission.
There's a lot of shit to do here with our little cars.
We'll give you some extra gold.
And this one's hosted by the Unicorn. So we'll see you next time as we do this. Bye.